Good morning. Christ is in our midst. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. So in our gospel reading today from Luke's gospel, we see Jesus doing what Jesus usually does. He crossed the lake, he shut down a storm in the passage just before what we read today. He arrives on the other side, ready to share the gospel, doing what he's been doing all along. But when he gets to the shore, he sees something that's a little different than usual. He sees a naked demoniac. Imagine you're on some trip, you just finally get to the place where you're going, you disembark, and your first vision is a naked demoniac. It must have been quite a fright for the apostles. They're still trying to figure out who this Jesus is. But Jesus heals the man. Jesus brings forth his own person, his goodness, his divinity, his grace, his mercy upon this man. And the man is healed. So that word spreads fast. This man who was in the tombs that nobody could control, who broke chains when they tried to control him, who lived out in the wilderness, who everybody was afraid of, this guy has been healed. So the people come and see what's going on, and they see the man. This is the man, but this time he's clothed. He's sitting at the feet of Jesus. Reminds me of Mary and Martha. Mary sitting at the feet of Jesus. He's now a disciple. He's now wants to be at the feet of the Lord and hear what he has to say. It's an exciting story, really, but here is where it takes a turn, kind of a dark turn, because it says, the people asked Jesus to leave. They didn't like what happened. This was Gentile territory. This is why they were shepherds of swine, of pigs. Obviously, the Jewish people wouldn't have herds of pigs, but Gentiles would, and so he's in Gentile territory here, and they ask him to leave. Why did they ask him to leave? Well, because these were their pigs. These were their swine, and the demons all left this man, went into the swine, and rushed into the sea, and were drowned. There was a cost to this healing. There was a cost to the people who lived there. You know, people generally love Jesus. They love superstar Jesus. They love healing Jesus. They love teach us about love, Jesus. They love feed the multitude, Jesus. But when Jesus goes a step further, when there is a cost to this Jesus, in this case, the Gadarenes losing a portion at least of their livelihood, the feeling changes. The light dims. The spark sputters. The loving goes cold. They don't want this disruptive Jesus. They want the other Jesus. They want the nice Jesus. For those of you who are parents, and especially if you're perhaps older parents and you can remember various ages in the lives of your children. I don't know if you ever think about it like, oh, that was my favorite age. When they were that age, oh, I just loved it then. I just loved it. And then sometimes we even think, I just wish they could have stayed that age. I wish they were like that now. But it doesn't work that way. We can't make them stay that age. In fact, it would be very cruel. Imagine if they stayed that age and they were not allowed to grow up, not allowed to be themselves, not allowed to become independent, make their own choices. It wouldn't be right. It wouldn't be good. We do this to Jesus too. We like Jesus in a certain way. We like him this way. And we kind of wish he would just sometimes stay that way. We want the nice Jesus. We don't want the real Jesus, because the real Jesus asks us to go further. The real Jesus asks us to go all the way. There was a time I was visiting someone at home, and we were talking about all these various niceties and things going on in the world and in life and different things. And after a while, I said to him, "So how is your spiritual life?" He said to me, "What?" I said, "How's your spiritual life?" He says, "What do you mean by that?" And I said, "Well, how's your prayer life? Are you reading the scriptures? Do you have kind of a morning or evening routine of prayer? Are there things you're working on, virtues you're trying to acquire, vices, sins you're trying to eliminate?" And he said to me, "Father, I'm not one of those religious freaks. I believe, but I don't do all that stuff." And it's sort of funny, but I think we all do that at times. How often has God come to us, rescued us, given us some sense of his presence, and then we ask him to leave? We reach a point in our faith where we begin to understand what true commitment means. But choosing to go all the way with Jesus costs us something. When we choose to stay on the sidelines, when we choose to believe, but really not have much commitment to evolving, to becoming the disciple that Jesus calls us to, when we just want to believe, but not have any cost in our life, then we are asking Jesus to leave. We're on the shore where Jesus is. He's present with us, and we're asking him to leave. The Gadarene people saw Jesus' power, a miracle that restored a man's life and dignity. They loved the power, but they rejected the cost. They loved the freedom of the man, but they mourned the loss of the swine, the loss of control, the disruption to their safe, familiar world. We love the fire insurance Jesus, who saves us from hell. We love the bless my life Jesus who helps us find success and health. We love the nice Jesus. But when Jesus asks us to go all the way, when following him means giving up some comfortable habit that might not be good for us, letting go of a grudge that we've been holding for a long time, serving someone inconveniently or someone that we don't really care for all that much, sacrificing our own pride or sacrificing our own treasure, when that's what it means to follow Jesus, the commitment feels like too much. We feel that terrifying loss of control. And like the villagers, we subtly or overtly ask Jesus, this disruptive Jesus, to leave our shore. We ask him to get back in the boat and go back to the other side with your people, those Jewish people over there. Go back to your own people. But the nice Jesus, the Jesus that allows us to stay on the sidelines, is not the real Jesus. The true Jesus is always calling us into deeper waters, calling us to more commitment, calling us to change in our life. He saves us, not to make us feel good, but to make us new. He invites us out of spiritual kindergarten into a challenging, beautiful, all-consuming life of being a disciple, like the man now sitting there at Jesus' feet. Look at him. That is the outcome of Jesus' completed work. Don't be the one who, after being rescued, asks the rescuer to go away. Don't let your fear of a minor loss, in this case the herd of swine, which may have seemed major to them, but in the big picture of things is really a minor loss. Don't let that fear cause you to miss a life-transforming glory that God is offering you. Jesus is on the shore right now. He's here with all of us. He's ready to set us free, lead us into deeper waters. He will not force your will. It says in the gospel today, after they said, Jesus, please depart from us, the next line was, and he got in a boat and returned. Jesus will not force us. He values our will. He has created us in his image with free choice. He will honor the choice, and he will get back into the boat. The beautiful thing is, though, he doesn't give up. He keeps coming, and he keeps asking us. So, what is it for you that is this livelihood, this comfortable thing, this sense of control that you are protecting and not allowing Jesus to come into and change? It's different for each one of us. We all have our things. We all have those places in our life that we're not giving over control. Don't ask him to leave. Ask him to stay and to disrupt those things in your life and in my life, so that he can make us true disciples, true Christians. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.